Dear friends, welcome to the chapter Heredity and Evolution, Maharashtra State Board, Class 10, Science 2. The name of the chapter is Heredity and Evolution. Welcome to the flashcards. After I read the flashcards, I will pause for 8 seconds so that you can come up with an answer. I will pause for 8 seconds so that you can come up with an answer. So let's start, friends. Who is considered the pioneer of modern genetics? The answer is Gregor John Mendel. Which scientist proposed the mutational theory in 1901 to explain the sudden changes in heredity? The answer is Hugo de Vries. Which organism were used by Walter Sutton in 1902 to observe paired chromosomes? The answer is grasshoppers. What was the major conclusion of research conducted by Oswald Avery, Maclean McCarthy, and Colin MacLeod in 1944? They concluded that except for viruses, all living organisms have DNA as genetic material. What model did Francois Jacob and Jacques Monod propose in 1961? They proposed a model for the process of protein synthesis with the help of DNA in bacterial cells. The process of protein synthesis by DNA through RNA is known as central dogma. Next question, define transcription. The process of RNA synthesis from DNA where the sequence of nucleotides in mRNA is complementary to the DNA strand used. It, it is basically the process of RNA synthesis. In transcription, which nitrogenous base is used in RNA instead of thymine? The answer is uracil. Where does the mRNA formed in the nucleus go to carry out protein synthesis? Where does the mRNA go? mRNA has to go out of nucleus into what surrounds the nucleus? It is cytoplasm. Next question, define the term triplet codon. The answer is the code for each amino acid consisting of 3 nucleotides on the mRNA. It is actually a code for amino acids. Amino acids together make up the proteins. The code for each amino acid consisting of 3 nucleotides on mRNA. For which discovery was Dr. Hargobind Khurana awarded the Nobel Prize in 1968? For the discovery of triplet codons for 20 amino acids. Next question, define the term translation. The process where tRNA supplies amino acids as per the message on mRNA using its complementary anticodons. The process where tRNA supplies amino acids as per the message on mRNA using its complementary anticodons. Define translocation. The process in which the ribosome moves from one end of mRNA to the other end by the distance of one triplet codon. This particular process is called translocation. The process in which the ribosome moves from one end of mRNA to the other end by the distance of one triplet codon. What type of bond is formed between amino acids with the help of rRNA during protein synthesis? They are peptide bonds. Define mutation as described in the text. Mutations are sudden changes in a gene where any nucleotide of the gene changes its position, causing a minor or a major change. So, mutations are sudden changes in a gene. Provide an example of genetic disorder caused by mutation. Sickle cell anemia. Define the term evolution. The gradual change occurring in living organisms over a long duration, over millions of years. According to the theory of evolution, where did the first living material or protoplasm form? Of course, because all living organisms need water, the first living material protoplasm formed in the oceans. Approximately how many years ago did life begin to evolve from simple elements and compounds on Earth? 3.5 billion years ago. What is meant by morphological evidences for evolution? Morphological evidences usually means external characteristics. Similarities in external features like mouth structure, eye position, or leaf shape among different species. What is the significance of the similarity in bone structure between a human hand, an ox, four, an ox foreleg, a bat's patagium, and a whale's flipper? What is the significance of similarity in all of these? It indicates that these animals may have a common ancestors. That is, these animals may have been evolved from one common organism. Define the term vestigial organs. Degenerated or underdeveloped, useless organs of organisms that were functional in the ancestors. These organs may have been functional in the ancestors, but now they are either underdeveloped or degenerated. Name the vestigial organs in humans that remain useful and fully functional in ruminants. Ruminants are, of course, animals which which we can call grazing animals. Appendix Appendix remains fully functional in grazing animals. List three examples of vestigial organs found in human body besides appendix. Tailbone, wisdom teeth, and ear muscles. These are the other three vestigial organs found in human body. What is the functional purpose of ear muscles in monkeys, which are vestigial in humans? Movement of ear pinna. Define the term fossils. Remnants and impressions of organisms that remain preserved underground after being buried by natural disasters. Natural disasters such as floods and earthquakes, etc. These are basically the remains and impressions of organisms that lived millions of years ago. In carbon dating, which isotopes ratio to C12 is measured to determine the age of a fossil? It is C14. Both are isotopes of carbon, carbon 12 and carbon 14. Why does the ratio of carbon 14 to carbon 12 change in an organism after death? We know the answer because C14 is radioactive, its amount goes down. C14 is radioactive and decays continuously, while C12 is non-radioactive and stays constant. Therefore, the ratio between C12 and C14 changes over time, which can help us determine the age of that fossil. Who developed the carbon dating method and received a Nobel Prize for it in 1960? Willard Libby. According to the paleontological evidence provided by sedimentary rocks, from which group did vertebrates originate? Vertebrates are those organisms which have a vertebral column. We know that organisms with vertebral column came from organisms that did not have a vertebral column. They are called invertebrates, organisms that did not have a vertebral column. Which geological era is associated with the dominance of reptiles? Mesozoic era. Identify the era in which mammals and aves, that is birds, primarily evolved. The answer is Cenozoic era. Define the term connecting links. Organisms that show morphological characters by which they can be related to two different groups. Organisms that show morphological characters by which they can be related to two different groups. Why is peripatus considered a connecting link between Annelida and Arthropoda? Peripatus, also called velvet worm. Because it has a segmented body and thin cuticle, Annelida, along with tracheal respiration and an open circulatory system. which shows similarity to arthropoda. Which animal is the connecting link showing relationship between reptiles and mammals due to egg laying and mammary glands? The answer is duck-billed platypus. Which evolutionary link is demonstrated by the lungfish? The name lungfish. Actually, we know that fishes breathe with the help of gills and not lungs. So, why is the name lungfish? That mammals or amphibians evolved from fish as it performs respiration with lungs despite being a fish. So, the name lungfish. What do the extreme similarities in the initial stages of embryonic development among vertebrates indicate? Similarities in the initial stages of embryonic development. They suggest a common origin for all those animals. That is, it indicates that all those animals must have evolved from one common ancestor. What is the name of the book published by Charles Darwin explaining the concept of natural selection? What is the name of the book? We know the answer. Origin of Species. According to Darwin's theory, what determines which organisms survive and reproduce? What determines which organisms survive and reproduce? Natural selection, where nature selects only those organisms which are fit to live. Natural selection determines. Mention one major objection raised against Darwin's theory of natural selection. He did not mention any explanation about useful and useless modifications. What is the fundamental principle of Lamarckism? Morphological changes in living organisms occur due to activity or laziness, that is, either use or disuse of organs. Provide Lamarck's example for the concept of use of organs resulting in morphological changes. The long neck of giraffe resulting from several generations of stretching to reach leaves on tall trees. Provide Lamarck's example for the disuse of organs leading to their degradation and ultimate disappearance. The weak wings of birds like ostrich and emu, or the loss of legs in snakes. Why was Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters eventually rejected? Why was Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters rejected? Because it was verified many times that modifications brought in an individual are not transferred to the next generation. Define the term speciation. Speciation means creation of new species. The formation of new species of plants and animals as an effect of evolution. Apart from genetic variation, what other factors lead to speciation? geographical or reproductive isolation. Approximately how long ago did the last dinosaurs disappear? About 7 crore years ago. About how many years ago did the tail of African monkey like animals disappear? 4 crore years ago. Which human ancestor stayed in Africa and evolved into gorillas and chimpanzees about 2.5 crore years ago? Ape like animals. Name the first record of a human like animal found in North India and East Africa. Ramapithecus. How long ago did human like animals with erect posture evolve? Erect posture who were able to stand with a erect posture. 2 crore years ago. Which human ancestor lived about 40 lakh years ago and was larger and more intelligent than its predecessors? The ape that grew in size in South Africa. How long ago did the skilled human develop? About 20 lakh years ago. Where did the man with erect posture exist about 15 lakh years ago? China and Indonesia of the Asian continent. How long ago was fire discovered by humans? 1 lakh years ago. Which ancestor is considered the first example of wise man? Homo sapiens. Neanderthal man. When did the Cro-Magnon man evolve? 50,000 years ago. Approximately when did wise men start practicing agriculture and rearing cattle herds? About 10,000 years ago. That was when man started agriculture. How many years ago was the art of writing invented? About 5,000 years ago. When did modern sciences emerge and how long ago was industrial society established? In the last 400 years. Modern sciences emerged 400 years ago and industrial society was established 200 years ago. What is the specific utility of heredity science in industry? It is used in industrial processes where microbes are used. In the process of transcription, how many strands of DNA are used? Only one of the two DNA strands. What is the relationship between the nucleotide sequence of mRNA and the DNA strand used for its synthesis? The mRNA sequence is complementary to the DNA strand. What component of tRNA allows it to recognize specific codons on mRNA? Anticodon. According to the diagram Journey of Human, which ancestor existed 7 crore years ago? Ancient animals like lemurs. What morphological similarities are seen in plants as evidence of evolution? Leaf shape, leaf venation, that is arrangement of veins on the leaves, and leaf petiole. What morphological similarities are seen in animals as evidence for evolution? Structure of mouth, position of eyes, structure of nostrils and ear pinna. What type of evolution is described as organizational and results in progressive development of plants and animals from ancestors? The overall process of evolution. In peripatus, what respiratory character is similar to arthropods? The answer is tracheal respiration. What is the specific function of the pelvic girdle development in human evolution? The pelvic girdle allowed ancestors to stand in erect posture in grasslands. They helped the ancestors of human beings to stand in erect posture. Which ancestor lived 2.5 lakh years ago according to the Journey of Human diagram? Dryopithecus. Which ancestor lived 1 crore years ago according to Journey of Human diagram? Ramapithecus. In the context of evolution, what is the survival of the fittest? The principle that only those organisms sustain or survive which show modifications essential for winning the competition for life. The theory of Dash suggests that mammals have evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fishes. Connecting links. What determines the specific sequence of amino acids in the protein? The sequence of nucleotides on the mRNA. The process of the ribosome moving from one end of mRNA to the other by the distance of one triplet codon is called translocation. What was the duration of the changes that led to the evolution of different types of organisms from the first living material? About 300 crore years. Which era follows the Paleozoic era in the geologic timescale shown? Mesozoic era. What is the primary cause of sudden changes in genes that can be either minor or considerable? We know what causes sudden changes in the genes. The answer is mutation. That's all for now, friends. Thank you.